To another episode of the Coaches Players Podcast. This podcast is built on the belief that the most successful athletes, employees, and business leaders share a trait. They are coachable. This podcast explores how the lessons being open to feedback, growing under pressure, and leading with humility extend far beyond the playing field. With these episodes, we want to inspire listeners to embrace coachability as a lifelong skill. And another episode, and I'm excited about this one. We have Lauren Hess with us. I've gotten to know Lauren over the past couple years. She applied for my work scholarship program, Keystone Contractors Association, and she was the winner. And during the interview process, she made the comment a couple times about how her softball career helped her and helped develop her into a leader. And she talked about softball and the team and everything, and it was more like a teamwork. So it was a really cool interview that was woven into a construction interview. And that interview from a couple years ago sat with me. And when I came out with this podcast, I'm like, Lauren would be an awesome person to speak with, to hear her thoughts on coachable people. So without further ado, Lauren, welcome. How are we doing today?
Great. How are you, John?
Good, doing all right, doing good here.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. I know the scholarship. I got that email first from the school. I was just on one of their emails for open scholarships trying to, help out with some tuition. And when I first applied, I was like, oh, I don't know, I probably won't get it, but it doesn't hurt to apply. And I truly have to say, out of everything I've gotten out of submitting that application, one of the best things is the connection that I've gotten with KCA. Although the scholarship was really nice, all of the other events that I've been able to be a part of and including this podcast, things like this have absolutely had such a bigger impact than even the financial aid did. So I'm so glad I submitted that and got connected with you and the association, and even moving forward to get more connected in your
Awesome.
mission. So yeah, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that.
You bet, you bet. And it did. Your interview left a big impression on the awards committee. Um, I think you were the winner of year three, I believe. We're now in year five, so that was two
Yeah,
years. Yeah.
yeah,
So
fantastic scholarship
yeah,
and all around. Yeah.
yeah. So we get 30 to 40 applicants every year, and from that we interview around 10.
Hmm.
And after the interviews, we kept coming back to the way that you approached the interview. It wasn't just you just showed up, and you could tell that you took time, and
Yeah.
you seemed organized in your comments and your thoughts, and 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 you did bring up softball a couple times, which was good and
Yes.
really cool. So
Yeah,
so let's start
definitely.
there. Let's
Yeah.
start with softball. So give me your softball history here.
Yeah, so I've been playing since I was probably just in little T-ball at a local organization near me, and I don't think I've had a year off from softball since then. I've always loved it, whether I was playing on just like a rec team or a travel team. And even now I play slow pitch with my dad and my brother 2 days a week. Just can't get enough of it. And I've done a lot of other sports too, soccer, track. I danced for a while, but softball definitely had my heart. And I don't know exactly why, because I do like to win, and softball's a game of failure. If you get on base 1/3 of the time, you're fantastic. That means you're failing more than you're succeeding. And that really does challenge you, but there's just something about it, like the skill and how hard you work and can improve and playing with a team. I enjoy winning with your team so much more compared to when I was doing track and it's a solo event. The only people who are maybe as excited as you are your parents, but like when
Yep.
you win with a team, it just means so much more. But then when I went to college, I was planning to just focus on academics. I didn't really have any plan for college athletics. But then COVID was my freshman year. So that first semester, everything was shut down. I ended up transferring to Penn State Harrisburg. Actually, I didn't go there at first. Um, And I was like, I need to do something. I'm gonna try out for the softball team. I can't be playing any less than I am now. And even though we had to wear masks while we were playing in the gym, which was brutal, it
Yeah.
was they still allowed a lot of sports to continue through COVID. So that's how I started playing in college. And I'm so glad I did it. As I said in my interview, it absolutely changed my time at college, helped keep me organized, keep me active, and like you said, just prepare you for the world in the workforce. So yeah, that's
Awesome. Yeah.
my general softball career.
Nice. And you guys did a fair share of winning, as I recall. I thought you won.
Yes, yeah, we did. We went to the championship games every every year I was there, I think. Maybe playoffs the first year, not the championship game. We didn't get to take home a title anytime I was there, but we did host my senior year, which was a really cool experience to like play at home. Um, but yeah, I mean, championship or not, I had such a great experience and I wouldn't change anything about it. Yeah.
Awesome. And from the time I first met you during the interview, and then at various events, you've been a speaker at events, you've been an attendee at events. You've come across as a very organized person, and and time management probably plays a role in that, I would assume. And how
Oh,
did sports help that process of your life in
yeah,
college?
sports have helped that, not just in college, but even before, when you have practice multiple nights a week, you have to find time to do your homework, like in 11th period or at school, or even waking up before school to get that homework done. And especially in college, when you don't have such a rigid schedule anymore, I know the days that I didn't have practice, I would sit around for so long and put off my work and just like do random stuff. But then the days that I did have practice, I knew I had that practice 4 to 6 or whatever it was. I'd want to eat dinner after. So I would make sure to get all my work done sooner. And there were times, freshman and sophomore year, where I was like doing my work on the bus ride, going to the games, and I'm like, this is horrible. I'm car sick. I need to get better with this
Yeah,
organization. So that definitely taught me a lot, having a little bit of that structure with the practice. Definitely keeps me more organized. And even that's come through now. Like I'll still procrastinate things here and there, but knowing that I have softballs on the weekend or like Wednesday night is when I play slow pitch now, I have a very productive day because I know I can't hop back online later and answer some emails. Like I want to have that time with softball. So that's definitely helped my organization because I have to say I'm not a naturally organized person. That was something I've practiced and gotten better at. For sure. Yeah.
and since you made the comment, you're not natural at it.
No.
Do you feel like, whether high school or even youth or college, was there someone that helped you along the way, like teammates? Did you see the way they prepare, the way that they operate, or was there mentors or leaders, or you just knew you got to get it done, so you got to get organized?
A little bit of both. My
Yeah.
dad's always been super organized, so he'll
Okay.
like he would harp on me and stuff. It's like, why do you do this to yourself?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, my lack of organization originally came from just I have so many things going on, so many ideas going on, and I just like jump from the next thing to the next thing, and I would get like excited and passionate. But I've definitely like learned to slow myself down, like
Mhm.
take that time to organize, and you'll end up being so much more productive. So I
Yeah.
think that it was more just a learned experience, not anything in particular. And it was also like the more responsibilities you get, like it's easy to procrastinate when you have small things going on or things that don't take up a ton of mental load. But when you get busier and busier, like now with work or with my softball schedule in college, you don't have the luxury to procrastinate and then make up for it by trying harder.
Yeah.
Like at some point you can only push it off for so long. So yeah, I'm glad I got that in check a little bit more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And with um, Penn State Harrisburg is what, Division two? Is it
Division 3.
Division three?
Division 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're playing Division three college,
Hmm.
and the ultimate goal is to enter the engineering field.
Yes.
Was there ever a thought in your mind, or like, what am I doing spending time here when I could be focusing more on education? And how did that help you because you did stay?
Mm. I don't think there's ever been a time where I was like, oh, why am I coming to these games or coming to these practices? Maybe for like a few minutes before practice when I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
But going to practice and having such a great time, being with my teammates, exercise. I mean, exercise and working out your body helps you think so much more clearly, like getting that energy out, getting that anxiety out. So maybe for a few minutes at a time, and then after I go to practice and I'm done practice and I feel so great, I'm like, no, why would I ever want to do anything else? This was the best part of my day, and now I can go back into the other things that I was doing, that studying for exams and whatever. And I would be so much more productive and have a better attitude. So I can't say I've ever thought or regretted that. I mean, it's the same thing now. I try and go to the gym before work, and every day when my alarm goes off, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why am
Yeah.
I doing this? This is the worst idea ever. Who's convincing me to do this?" And then after I get to the gym, I meet one of my friends there, and after the workout, I'm like, "This is going to be my most productive day. I need to do this every day." And you'd think you'd get used to it, but every morning the alarm goes off and I'm still like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's something, sports have taught me is resilience and perseverance, and that the things that make you uncomfortable and are difficult are always the most rewarding. And that's been so helpful, is pushing yourself through things that you're like, oh, do I really want to do this right now? And it always ends up being the most rewarding outcome. So
Yep.
yeah, long story short to that.
No, no, that's great. Great story too. And it probably helps as well being around like-minded people on the
Oh,
team. And
definitely.
you mentioned your friend at the gym and
Yeah, like I've been trying to tell myself to go to the gym for so long before work, and it wasn't really happening. Maybe like 1 or 2 days a week. And then she had mentioned it to me. And was like, we should absolutely go together. And it's just someone to hold you accountable. Like I know she wakes up in the morning and she doesn't want to go either, but I show up for her and she shows up for me. And like that's how it works with teammates and taking that into your career. Like there's some projects you might not want to be on, or they're a little bit tedious, but knowing and having a good relationship with your coworkers, like you're doing it to help them and they're doing it to help you. And when you have those like-minded people and people that you care about, it's so much easier to show up for other people, in my opinion. It's easier to let yourself down sometimes than let other people down that you really care about and respect. So that's part of the reason I've always loved team sports, is I'm really motivated by that. Um, but yeah, no, so I'm so glad she started going with me to the gym because I would not be as consistent otherwise. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
hmm
What about the role of your coach? Did you have the same coach throughout Penn State Harrisburg?
Yep. I had the same coach all 4 years. Yeah. I thought they were fantastic. They were fairly new. It might have been their second season or third season when I came.
Okay.
Um, so they were fairly new, and even the team was a decent team, not the best, not going to championships before um my year or the year before, and the coaches really took the program and expanded it, and like we ended up doing so much better and improving every single year. Like I know they're going to get a championship soon just from the work and improving every single year. So I thought my coaches were fantastic, and they talked about coachability all of the time too. And it's not just coachability is different than just following instructions or being teachable, so to say. Like
Hmm.
coachability extends further than that. I wasn't having one-on-ones with my coach every time or when we're doing reps. You have to be viewing other people actively and improving upon yourself, upon your own fruition. Like you can't expect them to just give you one-on-one instructions all the time. You have to be looking at other players that you aspire to be like
Hmm.
and choosing to improve that way too. And it's the same within the workplace. Like you could have a boss who gives you exactly what to do and you follow it along and you replicate it exactly. But that's not necessarily being coachable. Coachable means when you're working with different departments, soaking up everything you can about what they're doing. And or overhearing conversations from someone the next cube over and be like, oh, that's how they handled that. I should keep that in mind for when I'm in that same position. So they talked about coachability all the time, which it's so impactful.
Yeah. Can you maybe touch on the transition going from a scholar athlete to the working world? And you
Oh,
touched on it a little bit with the boss and everything and coachability, but just kind of your initial thoughts and what do you think now that you have a few years under your belt?
yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for me was sitting still for 8 hours, Being at school, I could choose when I wanted to focus on my work, then when I had practices, and it was kind of my own go with the flow schedule. So that was a little bit of a big adjustment, and trying to find time to stay active. So that was the biggest adjustment for me, um, from school to work. But in terms of how being an athlete translated to my work, I think that has definitely helped me. Um, just showing up every day and having resilience and pushing through difficult situations, or knowing when to go to my mentors or bosses and say, "Hey, I want something a little bit more challenging," or "I don't know what I'm doing on this. I really need your assistance here." Um, and really taking things and running with it and having the courage to fail and say, hey, I want to try this project. I know it's a little bit outside of my knowledge and pushing those boundaries a little bit, but I want to give it that effort and having the courage to fail,
Mhm.
knowing that your bosses or the other people, your coworkers, will be there to help you. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm at a dead end here. These are all my thought processes. This is everything I've tried. These 6 things I tried didn't work. Can you tell me what I'm missing? And you just learn so much more that way. If you stay comfortable and you're just, doing repetitive tasks at work, you're not going to grow as much. So being able to put myself in positions where it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this project, but that's how you're going to learn. So I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing that translated over from sports to work is just truly having the courage to fail and try things that you don't know or aren't comfortable with necessarily. Even things like this podcast or some of the panels that I've spoken for, it's stressful and it gives you a little bit of anxiety about um, public speaking, but being willing to challenge yourself always leads to fantastic outcomes. Like being a part of things like this.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
you
that's,
nail it.
that's
You do a
yeah.
great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it probably helps too with the transition because you're in the team setting, in college.
Hmm.
You have your teammates to rely on each other and help each other and push each other. And it sounds like you're in a situation now where you have that similar situation with coworkers and
Definitely.
boss.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Not
yeah,
everybody's lucky enough to say that, but I really do love everybody that I work with.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah.
good.
Hmm.
So what would you say to like your younger self, someone that is high school and they're on the fence, do I I'm going to school for X, do I go and
Hmm.
play a sport or what do I do here? So,
I mean, I would advise everyone to play sport. I think part of the reason that I did was like, yes, I wanted to focus on my academics, and that was part of it, and that's what I said. But internally a little bit, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm good enough to play anywhere.
yeah.
And that's going against what I'm saying of that sports teach you to have the courage to fail. And that was one of those times where I didn't have that courage right away. And then I did end up trying out because, I mean, I guess because of COVID, I was locked up and I had nothing else to do. I don't know if it weren't for COVID, if I would have tried out, maybe, but I would advise everyone to play a sport in college, or it doesn't even have to be a sport, but just any sort of club that you're
Mhm.
showing up and you're finding like-minded people. Absolutely think that will make your college experience so much better. And even if you think you're not good enough or you're not sure or it's scary, you absolutely should do it because, like I said, it changed my entire time at college. I couldn't imagine not playing.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend. Even if you're a walk-on or a lot of the larger schools like Penn State main campus, I went to Harrisburg, but Penn State main campus, their club teams are really, really good. So even
Hmm.
if you're not thinking, oh, I'm not going to get a scholarship or I want to go to this school, but I don't think I could play there, like go look at the clubs or other things in the area that maybe aren't even associated with your school, just other teams in the area. Um, yeah, I mean, sports have been a part of my life, like I said, since 5 or 6. So I truly couldn't imagine my life without them. Even when you had mentioned this podcast to me, I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't really have any specifics of like, oh, how did sports impact my life? Because I hadn't thought about it all that much. That's all I really knew. And then even on my drive home from work, I was just listing so many things. And I was like, oh my gosh, literally my life would not be the same without
Yeah.
softball or the sports and all of the people and experiences I had because of them. But yeah, yeah, definitely play sports in college.
Yes. Awesome. And
Yeah,
and you've said something a few times during this interview, courage to fail.
yeah.
You said that it's given you the courage to fail. Any idea like experiences related to that, or any idea like how long you've kind of felt that internally, like that thought or whatever, or did that?
Yeah. I
Because it's
guess
awesome you say that. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I didn't even think about it like that too. It was
Yeah.
just, I mean, when I started playing softball when I was little, I would get very, very upset when I struck out. Like you could
Yeah.
tell, like tears in my eyes, like so, so upset. And I have to say, it took me a little longer to grow out of that than I would care to admit. But, and even in college, like my freshman year, how I felt about striking out,
Yeah.
so different to the perspective that I had senior year about striking out, which I have to give some credit to my coaches for that too. Like they helped me instill that. Um, and I guess that's always been a value in my family too, is the courage to fail and having my family there to support me. And they've always encouraged me to like try and be my best self. So I'm lucky in that sense too. But I guess putting it into words would be probably sophomore year of college.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would say sophomore year of college is when that really like stuck with me. Yeah.
And during your time in college, was there ever a point? Was it right off the bat, or was it senior year, or was it never? Was there ever a point where you're like, I'm a team leader. I need to
Yes.
take that
Yeah.
serious, you know?
Yeah, that was my senior year, absolutely. Um, and I'm not a super outspoken person.
Mhm.
Um, like not super social. I'll love to have conversations with people in chat, but like I'm not necessarily one to um break out into conversation and
Yeah.
share a bunch. I was definitely more quiet on the team. Um, but you can also lead without being loud. You can lead by
Yep.
example and lead by support of your teammates. And there were always other people on the team who were more outspoken and more vocal than me, so I sort of let them take that role, or I let myself take more of a back seat in that. But then senior year, I guess we didn't really have anybody. The one person, good friend of mine, ended up leaving the team, and that was kind of who she was. And there
Mhm.
was that role that someone needed to step up into. And I was like, okay, I guess now's my time.
There you go.
So I slowly got more and more comfortable of like speaking out and supporting my teammates or giving constructive criticism too. Like, hey, this is not the attitude we need to have. Like, we need to like come together as a team. And working a lot with my coaches about that and them saying like, no, you are a leader. You
Hmm.
you have again the courage to speak up and be more open and not just take more of like a passive leadership role, which that's great too. Leading by example is
Yep.
huge, but taking a more active role would definitely be my senior year, and I got way more comfortable with it. You're always growing. I could pinpoint things every single year that I grew. So that's a great question, actually. I hadn't thought about that in a while, but yeah, senior year definitely grew in my leadership skills and being more confident in that.
Awesome. And during that time, did it change the way that you approached life, like approach school, or the change the way that you operate on the or the softball field, or just the way that you you felt about yourself? You're obviously more confident, I would think.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely more confident. And I've again always been more internally confident. I have a great family, and that's
Yep.
always something they tried to instill. But I'm just gonna stay in my own lane, do my own thing, worry about myself, good and bad.
Yep.
Like take care of myself for the good and take care of myself for the bad. But it's helped me lean on other people more and work with other people at work, being more open to asking other people questions and assistance, and then I want to be there to assist other people rather than just focusing on myself, not necessarily in a selfish perspective, but just like I'm showing up, I'm doing my work, I'm making sure my work product is appropriate and presentable. But having that leadership, it's like some of the newer employees or when the interns came at work, I really did want to take an active role in helping them, also because of all the people that I've looked up to leadership wise. I'm like, I do need to take a more active role, like worrying about yourself and doing everything correct or trying to do everything correct for yourself. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities, not trying to be a more active participant and leader. So yeah, that's definitely impacted. See, you're bringing up so many other things I didn't even think about how it's impacted my life.
Yeah,
Um,
it's awesome.
yeah, yeah, that's great.
Definitely. So we stepped away from the college field. We're in our
Hmm.
professional arena now, but you still got the itch to play. You're still
Yes.
out there. What are we doing now?
Yeah, so slow pitch right now, 2 days a week, Wednesday night and Sunday afternoons. Um, And I mean, I'll go out and hit with my dad or throw with my dad or anybody and say, hey, do you just want to head to the field for the weekend? I love it and miss it so much already. Even the level of play is obviously different, but like the enjoyment and satisfaction with it, I still get all the same. And now I love all my new teammates on the slow pitch team. It was definitely a big adjustment going from fast pitch to slow pitch and timing off that arc. I was pulling everything foul, but
Yeah,
slowly we're working our way there. And it is kind of fun. I played center field in college. I actually caught for most of my softball career, like in high school and everything, but we just needed an outfielder, and I liked it. But it's nice now with slow pitch. There's a lot more action in the outfield. Everybody's hitting out there. So it's been fun in its own way. And also even teaching me to take it a little bit less serious, going from fast pitch to slow
yeah,
pitch. I would get so like worked up even before the slope going up to bat for slow pitch. And I'm like, why am I taking myself so seriously? This is just a casual league. So I've definitely found a new love for it. Obviously, still super competitive about it, but being more casual and enjoying myself a little bit more. So that's been a fun change of pace with the slow pitch, but still definitely have that itch to play. I know my dad's 54 and he's still running around like crazy. I can't see him stop playing
that's
for
cool.
a while. So that's kind of my plan. Keep
Nice.
playing.
There
Yeah.
you go. Did
Spring,
he coach
summer,
you growing
fall.
up?
Hmm?
Was he
He
the
did.
coach? Okay.
Yeah. He coached me for pretty much my entire softball career before college, except
Okay.
1 year I played on a travel team. I was never that passionate to like be on a travel team. That was another thing that I was just scared I wouldn't be good enough to make a team, so I didn't try out, and it took me so long to try out for a team. And then I did, and it was fantastic. I learned so much from that new team as well. I liked my dad being my coach. I didn't really want to play for anybody else. He was a great coach.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, taught me a lot. Taught me
Is
a
he
lot
still
about
coaching, or
people.
did he hang up the whistle?
He's not still coaching. He coached my brother's soccer for a while.
Okay.
He's my brother's 3 years younger than me, but we were talking. We're both pretty busy, but we would love to coach like a 12U softball team together or something
That's
a little
awesome.
bit down the line in the future. Not really in the cards right now, but we would love to do something like that. And I mean, I love coaching too.
Yeah,
Even I love tutoring people. Just helping people be their best selves is such a great feeling. And teaching someone what you know, and how much respect I've had for all of my coaches, I'm like, I want to be like that too. So
that's
maybe
awesome.
down the line.
There you
Yeah.
go. Nice. And speaking of coaches, so you sounds like you're still following Penn State Harrisburg, and you said the
Mhm.
championship might be in reach here coming up. Do we stay in touch with the team, with the coaches, or?
Yeah, I do. Every time I come out there to that area, I always try and stop by, message my coaches and say, "Hey, when's practice? Like, let me come stop by, see everyone." Um, I don't get out that way as much as I would like. I'm back near Philly again, which is where I'm from for work.
Okay.
So I come out that way, For any KCA events to visit some of my college friends or my professors, I do always try and stop by. And I keep up. They have an Instagram account that they post to a lot about when their games are. Um, so yeah, I definitely like to keep in touch and keep tabs on how the team is doing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
hmm
That's awesome. Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation. This is awesome, and thank you for spending some time with me. Any closing comments? Any words of wisdom to pass on?
I mean, I was just curious for you what sports you played in college or in high school. I actually don't know all about that, so I was a little curious.
So I was born in a similar situation as you, where the dad coached everything. My funny story here is, I had two older brothers. They're 5 and 4 years older than me, and my dad was always the local football coach. So
hmm
he coached my older brothers all the way up, pee wee, pony, midget, and youth football, and then he stayed at midget football until I got there. So there was like a 3 or 4 year gap where he was coaching not his own
Yeah.
kids, just waiting for me to get to that level. And I was always the quarterback. So I played quarterback all through youth, except the 2 years I played for my dad. And my dad said, it doesn't look right if the coach's son is the quarterback.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So he said, I want you to play guard. So I was a lineman for the 2 years. And he goes, and this is going to help you if you play in high school, you'll understand linemen and blocking assignments, and it's going to help you in the long run. And like he said, he doesn't think the coach's son should be the star player or whatever. So I was quarterback every year of youth except 2 years. And then I started 4 years in high school at quarterback at Trinity in Mechanicsburg.
hmm
Went to Millersville and didn't really play out the way I liked it. So I ended up going to the military,
Yeah.
went to the Navy, and I joined the Navy club softball team. And
Oh, very cool.
that was awesome during my 4 years playing softball a couple times a week. And it was a blast. So we had a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely had that experience too. I never pitched, but it was always a thing. Like, if the coach's daughter is the pitcher, she's never
Yeah.
gonna get taken out. Like,
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing. Do you think it did help you, the 2 years that you were a lineman? Do you think it
It,
did help you?
it did help me, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, like my brothers were big too. They were linemen, so I kind of understood the line process and the line and everything. But actually doing it is different than just
Yeah.
hearing about it or seeing it. So it did open my eyes a little bit.
Dad's wisdom strikes again.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And now I got kids of my own, and the youngest is a baller. She's a basketball player, and just like you made the comment that you only wanted to play for your dad, she only wants to play for me.
Yep.
I never played organized basketball. All grown, I loved basketball. We had a basketball hoop out front, and I would be out there for
Yeah,
hours.
pick up
So,
games and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but never on a team. We just always played just pick up basketball, and she wants me to coach. So she's at that middle school age where I think I kind of phased out, and I've given her all the wisdom I could when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know anything else. You might
Yeah,
need to get a better coach.
but
No.
she's like, no, 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 I still want you to coach. So now I'm like the motivational coach. I'm on the team, but I'm just the raw coach. Cheering the
Yeah.
girls on and getting them fired up for games. And
No, that's so funny. Even in college when I played, if my dad was there, I was always like look off to the side and be like, should I move up? Should I move back? Like asking him some little pointers of like where he
yeah,
thought I should be in the outfield. So you never stop coaching,
yeah,
even
yeah,
if you're not the head coach.
yeah. And I
Um,
did get the honor. I call it an honor. It was a great thing to do when we moved to Dillsburg because I lived in Pittsburgh 20 years. We moved
right.
back here, and my middle daughter was real big into cheer. She did competitive cheer and all that crazy stuff. Opened my world to that cult world. It's an
Oh
awesome
my
world,
gosh,
but
yeah.
they're crazy. I love it.
The stuff they do is crazy. It's
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah. But she was cheering for football,
hmm
and the local team sent an email around. They're like, okay, we have enough cheerleaders for a squad, and we ended up having enough football players to field a team, but we don't have any coaches. And I said to my daughter, I said, I played football, I know, I understand the sport, and would you object if I coach? And she's like, no, that'd be fun,
He's so
Dad, you
fun.
know?
Yeah, then you can be a part of it too, not
Yeah.
necessarily the cheerleading part, but you're still part of that.
Yeah. So I
That's
did that for
very
3 years, and my
yeah.
daughters loved it. They'd come to practices and they'd hang out with the team, and it was fun.
Just such a great place to be. Yeah, even if you're not playing, just being in and around sports is
Yeah.
always so great.
And as a dad, maybe your dad was in the situation, maybe not, but as a dad, you're always like hesitant of your daughters dating, especially when they're first time dating or first time,
Absolutely. Yeah.
middle school, high school age. But then because I coached the football players, I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually nice kids. They're nice, respectable. They have manners.
Hmm.
So when you're at that level on the team and you get to know them personally and you understand kind of what their goals are and what they want out of life, and you're like, yeah, they're pretty decent. They're good people.
No, that is funny. Sports do reflect well, I
It does.
think, for dads and daughters. Like, the kid has some responsibility. He shows up on time for the most part. Um, Pretty good values. So that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. So I would highly suggest you get into coaching youth softball. You'll love it.
Yes. I would love to. I hope I can get that to work out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for having me be a part of this podcast. It was a great time. Got to
You
learn a
bet.
little bit
We're
more
gonna
about you too personally outside of work, but
You bet.
it's
This is
great.
awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. This is awesome. Well, until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and stay coachable. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks again, Lauren.
Thanks.